Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to solve 50 Pandas questions. I'll be using Leetcode SQL 50. Right, in this I have different levels of SQL questions which you can solve in Pandas as well. Right, so these questions are all free. You don't have to pay anything. You can just go to Leetcode, go to SQL 50 study plan and start solving it. What you should do is for every question you should try it yourself, then check out my solution. So we will solve all of these 50 questions one by one, and at the end of the video I think you will feel more than confident about pandas, because most of the things like aggregation, joins, filters, null handling, everything will be covered in this 50 questions. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so what you need to do is go to leetcode.com and go to problems, and there you go to study plan, and then go to SQL 50. In this SQL 50, you see there are 50 questions of different types of functionality. So, for example, we have select, where basically we will be doing some filtration, right? Joins, and then aggregation. All of these questions you can solve in SQL, right? But today we will solve all of these questions using Pandas. So, how we will solve it? We will go there, and we have this. You have to change it to Pandas. So by default it will be showing MySQL for you mostly, so you have to change to Pandas, and then we will solve all these questions one by one. Now I have also opened Jupyter Notebook in case I want to explain some concept or something. Then I will come here, explain you, and then solve the question here. Okay, so let's get started. So the first question says, now before I start solving the questions, if you have not learned pandas, or if you are not very confident about pandas, I would highly suggest you to do the pandas course that I have put on my YouTube video a couple of weeks back. I will put in the description box and the pin comment the link of the video. So watch that video first, practice there, and then you can start solving these questions. Okay, so the first question is recyclable and low fat products. So we have a product table, right, where we have product ID, low fats, recyclable, and this is all it is, right? Let's understand the question. Write a solution to find the IDs of products that are both low fat and recyclable, right? So basically, if you see, we have product ID, low fats column, and recyclable. Now we have to find those products which are both low fats and recyclable. Basically, for both, the value should be y, right? So if you see, for 1 both are y, for 3 both are y, right? So we need to use a filter where low fats is y and this both conditions should satisfy. Okay, so let's solve this in pandas, and we need to just return the product ID. Okay, okay, so how this work is, this we have to write this function and return whatever the output, expected output is. So we have to create a data frame of product ID and return it, right? So this is a function, and this is taking products as a input, as data frame. So this product data frame, whatever this table will go into this, and we will use this data frame to do all the calculations, right? So what I will do throughout this video, I'll just copy this products to df, right? I am very comfortable writing df again and again as a data frame instead of writing different name like products, countries, cities. I'll just create a copy of this, right, just for explaining purpose, but it will take unnecessarily memory in real time, so you should not do that. I'm just doing it for the explaining purpose, that's it. Okay, so now my data frame product is df basically, so I'll work with df now. Okay, so now I have to write a filter, right? What is the filter? That low fats and recyclable both should be y. So what I'll do, I'll create a filter condition here, right? I'll directly say df, right? In df, what is the column name? Low fats. Low fats should be equal to, it is a comparison, so we have to put 2 double equal to, right, equal to y, and for n we have to use the ampersand, right? And second condition is, right, this will return a boolean series of boolean values, right? Again, watch that full course, then it will be clear how this filters works in pandas, right? And the second column is recyclable, should be equal to y. Now, when we put two conditions, they should be in brackets, right? So I'll just say this one, and this one. Both should satisfy. Right now, this is my filter condition. I can pass this filter to my data frame directly. So I will say df and this fc. Right. So what it will do, wherever this condition satisfy, those index rows will be returned from this data frame. Right. Now, what we need in the output, we just need product ID. Right. So once I have this data frame, right, let me run this, what it will give me. Right, it will give me wrong answer, but I'll just show you. Okay, I need to return it, my bad. Return dffc. Okay, and it is saying there is some key error. Okay, I think we have a extra space. Okay, so if you see in output, we are getting product ID, low fats, recyclable, and we need only product ID in output, right? Expected output has only product ID. So I will select only product ID column, product underscore ID, right? So let me run this. Okay, so now you are saying you need to return a pandas data frame instead of class series. So this is important for all the questions, right? So what it is expecting, it is expecting a data frame, not a series, right? Now I'll just explain you what is the difference, right? The column is only one in the output if you see, right? But it is expecting a data frame. So let me explain you quickly what it is. So maybe I will take the uh, pandas schema from here and create it quickly, right? So this is my products. Instead of products, I will say df directly here, right? So if you see df, this is it, right? Now if I select only product ID like this, product underscore ID, right, and enter, so this is giving me product ID, right? And if I check the type of this, what is the type of this? Is it series or data frame? So it is a series, right? So by default, if you select one column, right, a data frame with single column is a series, but you can pass a multiple values as well, multiple columns. So what I will do, I will say, so let me remove this, right? What I want, I don't want this as a series. I still want this as a data frame. So what I can do, I can pass column names in a list, right? So this is square brackets around df to select columns, and then I'm passing a list here instead of just passing the column. In this list, I can pass multiple columns. So for example, I can say product ID and low fat. So it will give me two columns, right? So this is a data frame. But if you give in this format, right, within list, then single column also will be considered as a data frame. So I will check type this. So now you see it is data frame, not a series, right? We have a single column in the output, but still it is returning as a data frame, right? So we will use this convention to get the data frame. So I'll just go there and I will put this product ID within a list, right? That's it. Now it should be fine. Let me remove this, right, and run this. Okay, now it is fine, right? It is returning a data frame and output is also fine. Let me submit it. Okay, now going forward, we will take care of these things, right? Okay, so this beats 76% people, that is fine. It doesn't matter. Every time you run the code, it will be a different number. So it is 76. If I submit it again, it might be different because it is based on the, see, it is 71% now, right? So you cannot say anything. It depends on the server load, how many people are submitting at a time, right? So but your answer should be accepted. Doesn't matter how many people it is beating. It's okay. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so the next question is find customer referee, right? So you have a customer table, right? And this is the description of customer table. That's fine. What we want, find the names of the customer that are either referred by any customer with ID not equal to 2, not referred by any customer, right? So let's understand with the example. So we have this customer table, ID, name, referee. Output is, if you see, Will, Jane, Alex is not there, Bill, and Zach. So it is saying, give me all the names whose ref the ID is not equal to 2. Right? Apart from 2, they need everything. Right? Referred by any customer with ID not equal to 2. Right? Now the trick here is that even if it is null, I need an output, right? If you remember, if I just put this condition ID not equal to 2, then it will not even give null, even in pandas, right? It will just give me 1, right? So we have to handle in a way that we get the null values as well as any value which is not 2. So basically this row and these two. And we just need name in the output. Okay, so let's start. So I will say df equal to customer, and then I will start creating my filter condition. So I will say customer, right? Customer, I need to say customer which column? Ref the ID, right? This should not be equal to 2. That is one thing, right? Let me run this with this and we will see what is the issue. So I will say return df and pass this filter, right? And again, two square brackets to pass as a string, and we will get the name. Okay, or maybe let me show you the full first, right, just to explain. Okay, so if you see, we are getting only Zach in the output, right? That's the ID one. So null are not coming because null is not comparable, right? So what we will say, we will add one more condition here, and or we will add all, right? So we are saying that it should not be equal to 2, or this should be null, right? So this is null. So is null function you have to use, right? So you are saying customer referee ID should be null or it should not be equal to 2, right? So let's see what we will get now. So if you see, we are getting Alex and Mark, right? So Alex and Mark we are getting not equal to 2. Okay, sorry, I have to put in the round brackets, right? It is creating issue because of that. So let me put it. I think this should be fine now. So whenever you give two condition, make sure each condition should be in square brackets. Yeah, now it is fine. If you see, we are getting 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Right? Only two ones are not there. Right? So now it is fine. So what we will say? We need just the customer name. So I'll say name. Run it. Accept it. Let's submit it. It is all fine, right? So we have beaten 20% of the people, and that is okay. Let's move on to the next question. Next is big countries, right? So we have a word table where we have name, continent, area, population, GDP, right? Our country is big if it has an area of at least 3 million, right? Or it has a population of at least 25 million, right? So a country will be considered big if either of this condition is satisfied, which means we have to use the all condition, right? That is solution to find the name, population, and area of big countries. Return the result in any order. Great. So this is simple again. Filter. So I'll say df equal to word, and again I will create my filter condition and I will say df, and the column name is so we need to check area. So df area should be greater than or equal to this number, right? Or, and remember, put this in round brackets condition, right? Or df uh, population, right? So df population is greater than or equal to, at least they are saying, right? So we have to have equal to sign as well. This is 25 million. Again, put it in round brackets. Okay, and this is all we need actually. So if you look at the example in this also, If you see, Afghanistan has area greater than 300,000, 300 million, right? Area is less, but population is more, right? Population should be more than 250 million. It has population of more than 250 million. Area is less, which is fine because we have the or condition. Either this should satisfy or this should satisfy. For this, population is satisfying and this is also satisfying. No, this is not satisfying. This is 238. It has to be 250. So either one is satisfying for both. So Afghanistan and Algeria are there in the output. So we will say return, right? Now what all we need? We need three columns: name, population, area. So I will say df and pass the filter fc, right? Fc is a variable, and then I will pass the list of columns. So I need name, and then I need population, and then I need area. These are the three columns I need. Let's run this. Fine, let's submit it. Yeah, this is all fine, right? Let's move on to the next question. Okay, article views 1. So it is saying we have this views table where we have article ID, author ID, viewer date, right? So basically each article has some author and who has viewed that article. Let's say you can imagine as LinkedIn post, right? LinkedIn post ID, who wrote it, let's say I wrote it, and you all of you view those posts or video or anything, and on what dates you are viewing it, right? So we will have multiple rows for each article ID. Okay. Write a solution to find all the authors that viewed at least one of their own articles, right? Basically, we need all those author, right, that viewed at least one of their own article, right? So basically, author ID and viewer ID will be same, right? Those authors who have seen their own article, right? So we need to find all those authors. So if you see four, so if you see four has seen his article itself, right? Author is four and viewer is also four. For seven also, see there are two, right? So remember there are two rows, but we need to get one row only in the output, right? So we have to identify also remove the duplicates. For seven, if you see, seven has seen his own article, right? So if you see three, three has viewed five and six, but none of his own article. So we need just need to check that author ID should be equal to viewer ID and then remove duplicates. Okay, so let's start. So we will say df equal to views, and let's start with filter condition, and filter condition will be df author ID should be equal to df viewer ID, right? Those I need. Okay, so let me run this without removing duplicates and we will see. So return, and what we need in the output, just the author ID, right? So I'll say return df, and I'll put the filter condition, and then I will pass author ID. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so if you see, I'm getting 744, right? But the output is 47. So we have to remove the duplicates and return the table sorted by ID in ascending order, right? So we have to sort it also. So let's remove the duplicates first. So what I will do, I'll say dot drop duplicates, right? So it will drop the duplicates based on all the columns in this data frame. Now in this data frame we have only one column, so we are okay. If we have to drop duplicates based on some particular column, we can pass here subset, but for now it is fine. That is one thing. Okay, so let me run this, and after that we have to sort it as well, right? So it is still wrong because I am getting 7 4, right? So duplicates are removed, but it has to be sorted. So I'll say dot sort values based on which column? ID column. There is only ID column, right? So it says runtime error. Okay, I think I need to say sort values by. I think there is some error. Let's see. Key error. Okay. Okay, it is author ID, not ID. Okay, my bad. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so now if you see, we have author ID which is sorted 47. Now another problem here is column name is different. Here it is author ID and here it is ID. So they are expecting that in input the column is author ID but output should have ID only. So we need to rename the column as well. So I will say dot rename. So this is the syntax you can use to rename, right? And you will pass the columns what you want to rename, right? And you will say in a key value pair that I want to rename author underscore id to author underscore id to id, right? That's it. So it will rename author id to id, right? This is how you have to rename. And columns equal to, I think you have to say, sorry, columns equal to, yeah, so columns equal to, and this is the, if you have to rename another column you can pass here. Let's say you have one more column, you pass key value pair. Here it we are saying rename author id to id. That's it, right? So let's run this now. So it is accepted. Now we have the id. So basically we are piping the multiple functions. So we have just put a filter condition, then selected one column, then dropping duplicate, then on top of sorting the values, then on top of renaming it. So we are doing all of this in single line, and we are returning it at that point itself, right? So this is accepted, beat 77, almost 78% people. Great. Let's move on to the next one, invalid tweets, right? Let's see where we are so far. So this is the last question in the select part. Then we will start with the joins. Great. So next is we have a tweet table where we have tweet ID and the content. What is the content of that tweet? Write a solution to find the IDs of the invalid tweets. The tweet is invalid if the number of characters used in the content of the tweet is strictly greater than 50. Okay. So if the length of the content is greater than 15, then it is an invalid tweet. So only uh, if the tweet is invalid if the number of characters used in the content of the tweet is strictly greater than 15. Okay, so if it is greater than 15, then it is invalid. So this is valid tweet. No, it is a valid tweet and it is an invalid tweet. So we need the invalid tweets. Okay, we need the invalid tweets. I got it. Okay, the tweet is invalid if the number of characters used in the content of the tweet is strictly greater than 15, right? So if it is 16, 17, 18, it will be invalid. So this is invalid in this case and this is a valid one, right? So we have to get the invalid tweets. So let's start. So we will say df equal to tweets, right? Again I will start writing my filter condition. So I will say df, right, which column? Content, right? Now I need to get the length of this. So how I will get? I will have to convert into string object and then say length. So this will give me length of each character in this, right? So I will say this should be greater than 15. So if it is greater than 15, then it will be considered as a invalid tweet, right? So let me show you the result as well first. So I will say return df, and in this I will pass fc. So let me run this. So it is saying wrong answer because I need only the tweet id, but basically I got it, right? So I'm converting it into a string and then getting the length. If you want to understand more, sometimes these filter conditions you are not able to understand, what you can do is you can say this. So df equal to, let's say df tweet length, right? I'm creating a new column in df just to show you, and I will take length in this, right? So this will give you idea that okay, what is happening, right? So I'll just return df and run it. Okay, so if you see, this is the length I'm getting. So this is the 11 and this is 33, right? So on this, I'm putting the filter condition that this should be greater than 15, right? So I hope this is clear now. Anytime you are not clear, do this, right? So this is my filter condition and I'm passing this filter in the df, right? This is how this filter works. And then I need just the tweet ID. So I'll say give me tweet underscore id, and we don't need to sort. Return the result table in any order. So sorting is of no use, and column name is also tweet id. There is no need to rename as well. Perfect. Let's submit it. Okay, great. So this is also accepted. Beat 73% people. Let's move on to the next question, and from here we are starting the joins, right? So if you see, we are here, basic joins. So the question is replace employee ID with the unique identifier, right? So we have this employees table where we have ID name, and we have another table employee UNI, right? So this contains the ID and the unique ID. So for each employee, we have a unique identifier here, right? So each of this table contains the ID and the corresponding unique ID of an employee in the table in the company, right? So let's understand with the example. Write a solution to show the unique ID of each user. If a user does not have a unique ID, replace just show null, right? So if you come here, we have the employee table. This is the ID and name, and this is the unique ID table where we have ID and unique ID. So for the employee ID 3, the unique ID is 1. For employee ID 11, the unique ID is 2. For employee ID 90, the unique ID is 3. Right? So in the output, what we are showing is we are showing all the names from this table and their unique ID. If the unique ID is not there, then it will be null. So for Alice, ID 1. There is no ID here to show the unique ID. Right? So it is null. For Bob again 7. 7 is not there in this table. So null. Now for me 11. For 11 unique ID is 2. So we are showing 2 and then 3 1. So like this we have to show. Right? And return the result in table in any order. So doesn't matter the order. Great. So let's start. So we will say, so I'll create two data frames. df1 equal to employees and df2 equal to employee uni. Okay. So clearly we need to join these two data frame, right? So we have to join this with this and being this as a left table. So we have to have a left join, because if I do an inner join, we will end up with only these records where 3, 11, 90, right? We will not see Alice and Bob in the output, right? So we will do a left join and this being the left table. So I will say merged df, or my final df, I will call it as df, and I'll say pd dot merge, right? Pandas is imported already. Now I'll say my left data frame will be df1, right? And right data frame will be df2, right? How I want to do a join? I want to do a left join. And on which column I want to do a join? I want to do on ID column. So ID column is common in both the tables, right? So I'll do on ID. Okay. Let me show you what we will see. So I will say return df. Let's run it. Okay, so we are getting this output, right? ID, name, and unique ID. So if you see for Alice and Bob, unique ID is null, and for me, Vincent, Jonathan, we got the unique IDs. So all we need to do is we need to extract these two columns from this table, the unique ID column and the name column, in this order only. So first unique ID column, then name. That's it. So I will say, give me unique ID, right? And then give me name. That's it, right? So if I run this now, this is accepted. You can see the output as well. This is my output and this is expected output, right? Exactly same. So if I just submit it, Yeah, this is accepted. Beats 96% people. See, it is really good. Let me submit it again. Will it give again? I'm not sure. Okay, this time 87. So you this is all nonsense, I think. How many people it is beating? Just if it is accepted, you are good. Great. Let's move on to the next question. Product sales analysis 1. Right? So we have a sales table, typical sales table, sales ID, product ID, year, quantity, price, right? Um yeah. Then we have a product table. We have product ID and name, right? So I think we have a product ID here, and this table will join with this on the product ID. Great. Write a solution to report the product name, year, and price for each sale ID in the sales table. Okay, so what we need to do, let's understand with the example, right? So we have this sales table and this is a product table. What we need for each product which is sold, right? So 100 is there, right? Nokia. We can join these two and we will get Nokia. Then we need year and then we need price. Right? So basically, we just need to join these two tables and select these three columns, and that's it. Right? There is no logic as such, right? So if you read the question, write the solution to report the product name, year, and price for each sale ID in the sales table, right? So for each sale ID, we have to return the row, right? So each sale ID will be unique. So we don't have to do any aggregation, nothing. Just join these two tables and get these three columns, right? So I will leave this question to you. I don't think there is any complexity. Just join and select those three columns, right? And it will be done. You can try yourself. Let's move on to the next question. The only thing is you have to do the inner join. So I'll just tell you here, right? So instead of left, you have to do inner join and then just select based on select the column which you need in the output, right? So yeah, okay. Customer who visited but did not make any transactions. Okay, this looks good. So we have the visits table where we have visit ID and customer ID, right? So each visit will have a customer. Then this is a transaction, right? So we have transaction ID, visit ID. Okay. So we have the visit ID here. And then on that visit ID, if there is any transaction, then it will be there in the transaction table and the amount. Transaction ID is a column with unique values for this table. This table contains the information about the transactions made during the visit ID, right? Great. Write a solution to find IDs of the users who visited without making any transactions and the number of times they made these types of visits. Okay, great. Return the result table sorted in any order. This is fine. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to find for each customer, right? So this is my customer ID 54, right? So let's see 54 is where. This is 54, this is 54, this is 54. Now on visit ID 5, did he purchased anything? So visit ID 5, yes, he purchased multiple products. He did multiple transactions, right? So this is fine. Okay. Now he has another visit on with visit ID 7. Is it there? No. Then visit ID 8. Is it there? No. So it has happened two times that he has visited but did not purchase anything, and that's why against 52 we have 2. Right? If you look at 30, customer ID 30, he has visited only once with visit ID 4. Did he bought anything? No. There is no transaction on visit ID 4. So the count is 1, right? And let's look at some other customers. So for example, 54, 30, 96. Let's look at 23, right? So 23 visit ID 1, right? Visit ID 1, he has purchased something, right? So he doesn't have any visit when he did not purchase anything. He has only one visit, you should see, and in that visit he purchased something. So he is not there in the output. So for customers to satisfy, there should be at least one visit where he did not do any transaction. I hope this is clear. Great. So what we need to do, we need to join these tables clearly based on visit ID, right? Visit ID is unique in this table, so we can join. Once we join, right, what we need? We need only those rows, right, where so we need to do a left join kind of thing, right? If I do a left join, right, if I do a left join, right, and then I can get those records where on some visit it is not there. So let's do it. So I will say df1 equal to visits and df2 equal to transactions. Okay, great. So I will say df equal to pd dot merge. This is how we will join, right? Now my left data set will be, so the left will be this because it has all the visits and it is a subset. Some visits will be there, right? I'll say left equal to df1, right? And right equal to df2. Okay. How I want to do? Left join. Great. Next. On which column I want to do? I want to do on visit ID column. Great. So this is done. So now, so let me show you. Return df, and if I just run this, so wherever there is a visit, I am not interested in that. I mean, there is a transaction. I am not interested in that. So if you go here, this is the output, right? So for these visit, right, visit ID 1, there is some transaction. So I am not interested in this record. I'm interested in those records when on those visits there is no transaction, because those are the ones that I need to count, right? So what I will say, give me those records from this data frame where transaction ID is null, right? Where transaction ID is null, basically there is no transaction, right? So I will say I'll create my filter condition equal to df transaction ID, right, dot is null, right? This is my filter condition, and then I will say df transaction ID, sorry, df filter condition, right? So let me run this and show you quickly. So let me return this. Okay, so if we go here, see, we are getting these four rows, right? If you look at the output, 54 has two, so 54 has two rows here, 96 has one row, and 30th has one row. So we just need to do aggregation of this customer ID and get the count, right? So there are multiple ways of doing it. I think what we will do, we will just use a simple group by. So I will say dot group by, right? Group by customer ID, right? And dot agg, what I need to get is, I need to get, I'll explain you the syntax, right? So for let's say customer ID or maybe visit ID, right? Because I'm already doing group by on customer ID. So I'll say on visit ID, give me count. Okay. And let's run this. Okay. So if you look at the output, uh, this is my output. Output is visit ID, right? Because what is happening, the moment I do group by customer ID, it becomes the index of my data frame, right? Automatically. So I will say dot reset index, right? So the moment you do a group by on a column, it becomes the index and it is not printing the index. So I'll say reset index and then run this. So what it will do, it will create my index as a column, back to column. So if you see, this is customer ID and this is not visit ID, this is the count basically, right? But because I have used this column, the output comes like that, right? That this is a visit ID. So what I will do, I'll just say rename, right? Columns equal to, and I want to rename visit ID to count of number of transaction, right? And let's run this. Okay, this is now accepted and it is as per the expected output. Let's submit it. Great. So this is beating 50% of the people. Great. Let's move on to the next one. Rising temperature. So we have this weather table, right, where we have ID, record date, and temperature. So basically, on each date, we are recording the temperature, right? What is the temperature, right? ID is the column with unique values for this table, this and that. This is fine. Write a solution to find all dates, right? Dates IDs. So we need to find all the IDs basically with the higher temperature compared to its previous dates, right? Higher temperature compared to its previous dates yesterday. Okay. So basically, for each date, I need to compare with the previous date. If it is higher or not, then I have to give. So for example, first day. First day, there is no previous day. So this is out of the equation, right? Second, 25. Is it greater than 10? Yes. So 2 will be there in the output. 20. Is it greater than 25? No. So it is not there in the output. 30 is greater than 20? Yes. So it will be there in the output for. Right. So that's it. We have to check. In SQL, we will use lead lag function. Here we will do shift. So I'll just show you how it works. So what we need to do, let's make df equal to weather. Okay. And then I will say, so we will just sort the data frame based on record date, right? There is no guarantee that it will be sorted. Here in this, maybe it is showing, but I don't think it is a guarantee that it will be sorted. So we will say df dot sort values by uh, id. I think id should be fine, or maybe record date. Record date is better because we need for previous date. Okay, so this is fine. Now we will say df previous day temperature, right? I need a new column which will tell me what was the previous day's temperature. So I will say df dot shift 1, shift by 1, right? And what I need from here, I need temperature. I'm saying give me temperature by shifting by 1, right? So let me show you what it will return. So I'll say return df. Okay, so if you see, this is the ID, record date, temperature, and this is previous day temperature. So if you see, this is 10, previous is null, which is fine. So this is 25, previous day is 10. This is 20, previous day is 25, right? So I have just sorted first based on record date in case our data frame is not sorted. And then I am saying shift 1. Shift 1 means give me previous value. So by default, it will give me previous value, shift 1. You will do shift 2, it will give you previous to previous value, right? And this is all fine. So all I need to do is I need to create a filter, and I will say give me all those rows where temperature is greater than df previous day temperature, right? Yeah, that's it, right? Great. So I will say in df put this filter condition, and then what is the expected id. So I'll just say give me id, right? So let's run this. Okay, so this is accepted. 2424, right? Let's submit it. Now if you see, this question is in the, oh, okay, this is wrong. Temperature 3 minus 1, 15 16. So our output is empty, and they are saying id should be 1. Yeah, we are sorting it. Oh, I got it. So when we are sorting, by default it will sort in uh, ascending order, which is fine, right? We need in ascending order only. So we will have df equal to weather sort by record date. and this will give me shift, which is fine. And I'm saying temperature should be greater than previous temperature, right? So in this case, 3 is greater than -1. So why? Okay, let's try one thing. Let me. So how you will debug this, right? So what I will do, I'll just take pandas schema, right, and try to replicate this. So we'll take this. I'm telling you so that you can debug yourself, right? So I'll just create df here and df. Okay, so this is fine. So now what we will do, let's run our solution first. So our solution is this, right? And let's go there. Mm, this is also not required. And just dffc, let's take this one. Okay. I need to read this first and then this. What is the error here? Record date. Hmm. Key error that is saying df equal to this. Hmm, this is fine. This is also fine. And df sort values by record date. Okay, I don't know why it was error, but basically this was fine, right? Okay, so now what we will do, whatever case is failing, right, we will create that data, right? So let me copy this. So this is my record date, right? So we will say this is my record date. Okay, and the value is 3, right? Temperature value is 3. Great. The next one is 15, right? So let me make it 15 and -1. So I will say 15 and -1, right? These are the two rows, and I'll just remove everything else. Great. So let's run this. So this is fine. This is fine. 3 -1, and that we'll see. So it is returning nothing. So let's see where is the problem, right? So I'll just see df. What is my df? So this is my df, right? And previous day is null. Okay, so it is not sorting, I think, right? Problem is sort. It is sorting by record date, but by default, I think it is sorting. Oh, I got it. It will sort, but not in the data frame. We have to say in place equal to true, right? So that was the problem. Sorting was not happening properly. We have to say in place equal to true. Otherwise, it will not do change in the data frame, right? If you have seen video, right? Now it should be fine, right? So now if I say dffc, now it is sorting. See, 15 is first, right? Oh, sorry. This is a variable, not. Okay, so now it is fine. So what I need to do is I just need to say uh, I just need to say in place equal to true. Sorry, in place equal to true. Perfect. Let's run this now. Let's submit it. So when the data was sorted here, it was all fine, right? When we just submitted it, I mean, just ran this. But when we are submitting it, it is wrong, right? Now again, if you see, there is some problem. So it is saying 2 should be there, right? So this should work, right? Um, 5 is greater than 3, expected nothing. Oh, so there is a gap in the date. You're getting it. So we are missing one more thing here, right? So if you see, 16 is there, 14 is there. So there can be a date missing. So 15 is not there itself. So we are expecting nothing. The expected output should be nothing, right? Because previous date nothing is there. So what we need to do, we need to also check the date of this row and the previous row. The difference should be 1, right? So let's add that condition. So what we will do, we will get the previous date as well. So I'll say previous date equal to record date shift, or let's say previous record date, right? Date. Okay, so this is my previous record date. Let me show you as well once. So I'll just say df, that's it, right? So let me run this. So we have got the previous record date. So what we need to make sure, we need to check that record date and previous record date, the difference should be 1, and the temperature should be greater than previous day's temperature. So if these two conditions satisfy, then we are good, because if the differences of 2, right, it means we have not recorded the previous day's temperature, and we cannot satisfy that record. Okay, so now we need to get the difference, right? So I'll create one more column, and I will say days diff, right, equal to, and then I need to say I need to get the date, right? Df record date minus df previous record date, right? This is what we need to get, right? And I need to get the number of days. So I will say dot dt. We need to convert into date class and then days. Right? I hope this will give. Let's see what it will give. It is saying there is some error. Key error. What is the key error? So we have df record date. Okay. Again, every time I copy paste, this space is coming actually. Okay, so these kind of errors you will face, right? So if you see, we are getting this last column as days diff, right? Days diff, this is null 111, right? So this should be equal to 1 as well. So I'll say this is my first condition, and my second condition should be df days diff should be equal to 1, equal to 1, right? And let's put it in brackets. So this is one bracket and this is one bracket, and then I will say df Let's see. So there is one extra. Okay, so this is fine. This is my condition starting here, ending here, and this is okay. This is not required. Okay, fine. Okay, and then I need to select those IDs. So let me select IDs, right? So let me say, give me ID. Perfect. I think this should work now. We have taken care of both the things. This is accepted. Earlier also it was accepting, but let's submit it. Now it is accepted. See, so this is how you have to solve these questions, right? Whenever this accepted is not working, you have to see which test case is failing, then try on Jupyter Notebook if you are comfortable, and then come back. So we did two fixes there. One thing is in place equal to true, so that in this data frame itself it makes the changes. Second, we assume that we will have temperature recorded for each day, but that is not the case. There can be a gap, so we have to handle that as well. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next question. Next one is average time of process per machine. Okay, so we have an activity table where we have machine ID, process ID, activity type, timestamp, right? So it is all the description of the table. We will skip it. You can read it later. So there is a factory website that has several machines, each running the same number of processes. Write a solution to find the average time each machine takes to complete a process, right? The time to complete a process is the end times time minus the start times time. The average time is calculated by the total time to complete every process on the machine divided by number of processes that we run. So I'll explain you with the example. So basically there is a multiple machines. So machine 0, machine 1, machine 2. Now each machine is running processes. So this is process 0, this is process 1. Now for process 0, this is the start time. Activity type is start and timestamp is this. And this is the end time. So basically machine 0 takes this much time to process ID 0, which is 1.520 minus 0.712. Now machine ID has another process 1. This is the start time, end time, right? So what we need to do for each machine, we need to get the average processing time, right? The average time is calculated by the total time to complete every process on the machine divided by number of processes. So for each process, we will have to get the time taken, and then at machine level, we need to get the average. That is all we need to do. Great. So there are multiple ways of doing it. One is just we discussed shift function we can use. If we use shift, we will get this value here, right? Along with this end row, we will get the start time as well. And we can do minus, and we can filter that only give me the end rows because this is not required. Once this time is there here on the activity type end, for each of the row, I'll get activity start time next to this using shift, right? And then I will just get start time, end time, get the difference and average. That you can do. But how I will do is I will split it into two tables. One is all the activity start time and another table for end time, and then I will join those two tables, right? So there are multiple ways of solving one question. So I will say df, let me call it start, equal to df. I need only those records where df activity type equal to start, right? So this will be my equal to I have to say, right? I can pass directly as well instead of creating that filter condition variable, right? So this is fine. Let me give space. Similarly, I will create df end, right? And I will say this should be end. Now, so imagine we have a table where we have all the start ones, which is df start, and df end will have row where activity type is end. Now what I can do, I can join these two tables based on machine ID and process ID, right? So if I join based on machine ID, process ID, these two rows will join together, right? These two rows, this row from start table and this row from end table will join together. Similarly, this row from start table and this row from join table will, sorry, end table will join together because we are joining on both the keys, right? So 0011. So this will be joined 0000. This will be joined 1100. This will be joined. So likewise. So I will say my final df is pd dot merge, right? And I will say, so what columns I need? I'll just select those columns. I'll say left equal to, right? Left equal to left equal to, let's say df start, right? It has to be inner join, so doesn't matter. Right equal to, let me take the all the columns for now. Df end, and how I want to do, I want to do inner join, and on which column? So I have to join on two columns, so I will have to pass as a list. So the first column is machine id, and the second column is process id. This is kind of self join we are doing, you can say, right? So let me show you how it looks like now. Okay, so df reference before assignment. Okay, df and return df. Okay, df start equal to, okay, this is activity not df, my bad. So let me do one thing. Maybe I can create a df equal to activity, right? And then this can be my maybe final df, right? And return this. Yeah, this should be fine now. Okay, can only merge series or data frame objects at class str were processed. What is this error? Can only merge series or data at class str was passed. Okay, okay, my bad. This I have to pass as a data frames, not as a string. My bad. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the output. So this is my output now. If you see machine ID, process ID is there, which on which we are joining basically. Then we have activity type X and timestamp X, activity type Y and timestamp Y. So now what happens when the column name is same? So this activity type is same in both the tables. So what it is doing, it is appending X in the table name, in the column name. Similarly, so for first table, df start, both the columns have xx and this has yy. Both the columns coming from df and table, right? So this is fine. Now we are joining on machine ID and process ID. So it is not creating duplicate of these columns. It knows that there is a join. So it is not creating, but for other columns, it will subset x and y. Right. So I hope you understand this. Great. Now all I need to do is I need to get the difference between timestamp x and timestamp y. So it will be y minus x because y is end and x is starting. So for example, this is 0.712 and ending 1.52. So I will say 1.52 minus 0.712. So I'll create a new column and I will say process time, right? Processing time or process time, whatever, equal to df activity type timestamp y, right, minus df timestamp x, right? So this will give me process time or maybe make it as processing time. So this is the time, right? So I'll get the time. Now what I need for each machine id, I need to get the average. So I will say, sorry, this is final df, final df, final df, final df. So I'll say final df dot group by, right? So group by what? I need machine ID, machine underscore ID, and I need to get the average or mean, right? So I'll just say dot agg, and in agg what I need for the column this processing time that we just derived, right? I need mean of this. So single quotes or double quotes doesn't matter. I'll just give in single quotes. Right? So it will give me mean of this. So let me return this. Return this directly, and let's see what it will return. Okay, so if you see, again, I'm not getting the index value. So I will say dot reset index. Set index. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so it is saying accepted, and if you see, I'm getting machine ID and processing time in the output. This is expected, and this is what we just derived it, right? So let me submit it and let's see if it is working or not. It is wrong, so let's understand why it is wrong. So this is my input, right? And this is my output, and this is expected. Okay, so it is saying round it to 3 decimal places. We missed it actually. So if you say round to 3 decimal places, so we will say dot round to 3 decimal places, right? Let's submit it again. Yeah, so this is all good, right? Beating 64% people. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next is employee bonus. So we have the employee table, right? It has employee ID, name, supervisor, salary, right? Typical employee ID table. This can be considered as manager ID, right? Great. Then we have a bonus. So each employee ID got how much bonus. This is also very straightforward table. Write a solution to report the name and bonus amount of each employee with a bonus less than 1000. Right? Write the solution to report the name and the bonus amount of each employee with a bonus less than 1000. Right? So we just need to join these two tables. Right? So if you see these two tables, we need to get employees with bonus less than 1000. So who has less than 1000? To this guy. Right? So less than 2000 means 4, right? And Brand and John has null. Okay. Name and bonus of amount of each employee with a bonus less than 1000. Okay, so if someone doesn't have less than 1000, uh, then we want null. Okay. Okay, so we don't know the bonus basically. Okay, so basically same thing. Either it should be less than 1000 or it should be null, right? So when I join these two table, right, bonus will be null for 1 and 3, right? 1 and 3 is Brad and John, right? So we need to get those rows. So you need to just join this. This is as a left table, right? This will be my left table. And then you have to say, give me all the records where bonus is less than 1000, right? Or bonus is null, right? Bonus will be null for 1 and 3. Then we will get this, and you can just get these two columns, right? So I hope you will be able to do this. I don't think there is anything new you will learn. If even if I explain, you just need to do a left join and put that similar condition we have used earlier, that bonus less than 1000 or it should be null using all condition pipe operator. Great. Let's move on to the next one. Students and examinations. Okay, so we have a student table. Student ID is the primary key. Each row of this table contains the ID and the name of one of the student in the school. So this is a simple table, and this is a subject. Subject is the primary key column with unique values. Okay. So for example, and we have then examination. So we have three tables basically, and then we have examinations table where we have student ID and subject name. Right. So subject name will be referring to this table, and student ID will be referring to this table. Perfect. So we understand the tables now. Write a solution to find number of times each student attended each exam. Right. Return the result table by student ID and subject name. Okay, great. So let's understand. Right. So we have this subject name here, and we have student ID, and this is the examination. Student ID 1, subject name math. Great. Now in the output, we are saying that student ID 1, student name Alice, subject name math attended 3 times. So if you see student ID 1, right? 1 Alice, right? Attended math how many times? 1 time, right? Then again here 1 time and again here 1 time. So we need to basically join these two tables and get the aggregation at exam, student ID and subject name level, right? So that is one thing. But there is one more thing. So for example, 2 physics, right? So if you see 2 physics 0, so if you see 2 is here, right? And then he is not appearing here for physics exam, right? So if I just join these two tables, I will not get those records. So basically, against each student, I want all the subjects. So one math, one physics, one programming. And then we need to check how many times it is here in this table, right? If it is not there, then we will give 0, right? So this is why this table is given. Otherwise, there was no use of this table as such, right? But we have to make sure even if a student has not appeared for the exam, we should show as 0, right? So first we need to get all the combination: one math, one physics, one programming, two math, two physics, two programming. Once that is done, then we can do a left join and do a count. Okay, so let's start this. So what we will do, so first we need to do a cross join, right? So that I get each student id and against that all the subjects. So I'll say, so my students df is equal to, let's keep these name as it is, right? They are multiple. So I need to do a cross join basically. So I'll say df equal to pd dot merge, right? And doesn't matter actually. Left equal to, let's say, students, right equal to subjects, right? And how we need to do, we need to do a cross join. Now when I do a cross join, there is no need to tell on which column, because cross join is each row will be joined with each row in this table, so there is no on clause as such, right? Even if in SQL you do cross join, you don't have to do a on clause. Great. So let me return and show you quickly what it is returning. So if you see, this is my output. So 1 against 1, we have all three subjects. Against 2, we have all three subjects. Again 13, we have all three subjects. Against 6, we have all three subjects. So this is fine. Now I need to join with this, right? And then do a count. So what I'll do df final maybe equal to. So I need to join df, right? So I'll say pd dot merge, right? Now this time left will be my df, this I merged one, right? So I'll say df right equal to, sorry, right equal to subjects, not subjects, examinations. Okay, how I want to do, I want to do a left join on which column. So I want to do on which columns I need to join. I need to join on student ID as well as subject, right? On the both the columns I need to join. So from here I am getting student ID and subject name, and here also I have student ID and subject name. So I will just say on student ID and subject underscore name, right? And let me show you how it looks like. So I'll say return df underscore final. Okay, so this is my output now. Uh, uh, Student ID, student name, subject name. Okay, yeah. So now it is fine, right? So I have done a left join. I have done a left join, right? Yeah. So I'm not seeing any column here which is null, right? So for example, uh, okay, so it will be 0, right? Okay. Okay, I think what we should do is, so we are not getting any extra column from this table, right? We have student ID, subject name, right? So whatever is joined, and whatever is not joined. So for example, 6 LX math, right? How I will know that there is no record for this, right? So most probably what I will do, I will add a new column in this table. I'll just show you what I'm trying to do. So I will say examinations. Let me add here examinations dummy column. I will add dummy equal to 1. I'll show you why I'm doing it. So in this data frame, I have one more column dummy, and let me run this now. Okay. So now if you go, see, I'm seeing this null. It means there is no record for Bob physics in this table, right? So the count will be 0, right? Earlier, there was no new column which will come as null. These are all joining columns, both the columns, right? Now I have created a dummy column, and it will tell you that this combination is there or not in this table. If it is not there, then it will come as null, right? Now what I will do, I will say, sorry, return df final dot group by, right? What I need is output student ID, student name, subject name, and attended exams. Okay, so I have to do group by on all three columns. So I will say student ID, comma, student name, right, comma, subject name, right. Once I have this group by, I'll say give me aggregate of what, of dummy, right. What I need is I need count. That's it. I need to rename the column names. I will do it, but let's run it once. Okay. So if you see, I'm getting, okay, I need to do the reset index. Reset underscore index. Yeah. Okay. So if you see, output is student ID, student name, subject name, and this is count, right? Basically, attended exams it should be. So one L is math 3. So if you see, one L is math 3. The only difference is we have dummy. So I'll just do rename, or maybe I'm very smart. The new column that I will add with this name only instead of dummy. So I don't have to rename it, right? So I'll just say attended exams, and when I'm saying this, yeah, that's it. So let me run this. Yeah, so now it is fine, right? Looks all good. Let's submit it. Wrong answer. Okay. So we have student ID, student name, subject name. Okay, so this, let's see why it is failing, right? So we have the subject name, students are this one, examinations is this one. So output is this, and expected is this. So they are expecting null as well. Okay, got it. So they are expecting null as well. So if null is there, right, that should also come in the output, which is obvious. But in our case, why it is not coming? Because we are doing a join on student name as well. If you see here, join on student ID and subject name, join is fine. Then why it is getting dropped? I'm saying join on student ID and subject name. Okay. So even if it is null, we will create the records. Okay. Just fine. And let's see where we are failing here. Student ID, subject name. Then we are saying do a group by on student ID, student name, subject name. Right. Why nulls are getting missed? Let's see. Again, what we will do is we will go here and get the pandas schema, and let's see why nulls are not coming in our case. Okay, so this is as it is, and I'll take my solution from here, go there, run this, right? Okay, this is fine, this is also fine, and this is also fine. Okay, so this is fine, but let's introduce null. So let's say I'm saying this is null in this case. Let's see if this will give me the output or not. Okay, np dot none, I think we have to give, right? Let me check. So this is student name as null. Okay, sorry. Null means np dot none, import numpy as np, np dot none, I think. Yeah. So let's see if this is working. So this is how we have to give the null values, np dot none, right? And let's run this. Yeah, so we are not getting one. If you see student id 1 id 1, we are not getting in the output, right? So whenever there is a null, we have some problem. So let's see what is the problem. So what we will do, we will see what is there in df final. So I'll just comment it, and df underscore final. Let's see what we have. So we have one and none, right? But when we are doing a group by, none is getting dropped for some reason, right? So when I do a group by here, right, none is getting dropped. None is getting dropped. Not sure. So in pandas, if I do a group by on student name as well, right? So all the ones will be gone. Only two are there, right? So how should we handle it? Yeah, so if it is none, maybe we can convert it to null, right? Let me try. So what we will do, um, in the subjects itself, students dot name, right? So if it is name dot um, replace na, uh, I think replace na, or which function we have to use. Let me check. How to replace null in pandas. Fill na. Okay, so this is fill na. So what I will do fill na, and let me replace it with null. Right, we will see. Right, and we'll have to do in place equal to true. In place equal to true. Let's see if that works. Uh, there's some problem. Key error name. Okay. Students. Where is students? And student name. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now it is coming. If you see, now it is coming. So let's see if this solution will work or not. I'm not sure because we are replacing it with null and it is none. So we'll see. So we'll see. So I'll do this and then run it again. Okay, submit. Wrong answer. Let's see. Output is 1. Yeah, this is a problem. So it is coming as a string null, not the proper null. So maybe what we have to do, we have to again replace all the string null with proper null, right? So or there should be a way to handle it here itself, right? When we are doing a group by, let's see, group by dropping null values in pandas. Null values in the grouping keys column are dropped by default. This behavior is controlled by the drop any parameter in group by method, which is set to true by default. Okay, so this is a better way. So we can say drop any equal to false. So what it is doing is by default it is true, right? So if there are null values in group by, it is dropping. So what we will say, do false. Don't drop if there are null values. So let's remove this. And when I'm doing a group by, where is my group by? Here, right? Group by, okay, when I say column name, next to that, so next to this I need to pass drop any equal to false. I hope this should work. Let's see. Great, this is accepted. I think this should work now. Perfect, so this is working, right? So this is how you have to learn, right? It is beating 97% of the people. Awesome. So I have also learned something new. I didn't know that any values get dropped when we work with pandas, right? So I hope you are learning something new. Do subscribe to the channel, like the video if you have come here so far. Let's move on to the next question. Let's see where we are on the progress. So we have two more questions in this category, right? So let's solve them quickly. Okay. So the next question is managers with at least 5 direct reports. Okay. So we have an employee ID where we have ID, name, department ID, manager ID. Typical employee table, right? ID, name, department, and manager ID. So manager ID is null, which means there is no manager for John. For Dan, the manager is 101. So 101, right? Output is John. So the question is, write a solution to find managers with at least 5 direct reports. So for each manager, we need to see how many employees are there under him. So for 101, there are 5 employees. At least 5, it is saying, right? At least 5. So 101 is there in the output. So it is simple. We just need to do a group by on this column, right? And get the ID, I mean count, and see if count is greater than 5, then give that ID. And we can just, okay, there is one more thing, right? We will get the ID. Then we have to join it back to get the name. So you have to understand the group by is manager ID, right? So for 101, the name is John, right? So by grouping on this, getting the count, you will do group by manager ID, get the count, right? Now once you get the count, you will filter on that count. That count should be greater than or equal to 5. Once you do that, you will have to join with this employee table again, right? And this 101 will join with 101 and you get the name because in the output, name is expected, right? So I hope you will be able to do it. There is nothing new in this. Just you have to do group by your manager ID, get the count, put a filter condition, count should be greater than or equal to 5. Then you join it back. Whatever data frame you get where you have this manager ID, you join it back with employee and get the name and display it. That's it. Okay, let's move on to the last question of this section, confirmation rate. So we have the signups table, right, where we have user ID and timestamp. This is basically simple table at what time a user is signing up on a website or wherever. Then confirmations is this user ID, timestamp, action. Okay. So once you sign up on some website, even on Namaste SQL, you get an email to confirm your email, right? So this table tells that this user ID on this timestamp it has confirmed or not, right? So it will be confirmed or timeout. So if you don't confirm it, it will be timeout. Okay. The confirmation rate of a user is the number of confirmed messages divided by the total number of requested confirmation messages, right? So for each user, total number of confirm message, how many times it is there as a confirm in this table, divide by total number of uh, total number of rows in this table, basically, right? Okay. Yeah, the confirmation rate of a user that did not request any confirmation message is 0. Round the confirmation rate to decimal places, right? Write a solution to find the confirmation rate. Okay, fine. So basically you have this table, right? Here we have 3726. So at this point they signed up and then they have the confirmation table, right? How many times they requested the email. So 3, if you see, he requested 2 times, right? And both the times it is timeout. So confirmation rate for 3 is 0. For 6, if you see, 6 is not there. So for 6 also we will give 0. Now look at 7. For 7, he has requested link 3 times and all 3 times it is confirmed. So it is 3 divided by 3, 1. For 2, if you see 1 is confirmed, 1 is timeout. So again this will be 1 divided by 2. Right? So this is how we have to do. Let's solve this question. So what we will do first, one thing is we need all the records from this table, even if it is not there in this table, right? So let's get all the user IDs from this table, right? And then we will join with this. So this will be my left table, this will be my right table, and we will join this. So I will say my df equal to pd dot merge left dataset. So first argument is always left. So even if you don't give left, it is fine. Right. So I'll say signups, left is signups, and right is confirmations. Okay, so first two parameters you can pass as it is. On which column we need to join? User ID. How? I want to do a left join. Okay, and let me return df and see what we are getting. Okay, so this is my output, right? So this is user ID, and for 6 there was no record here, so I'm getting null, right? See, nat it is because it is a timestamp column, and action null here, right? Now another thing is this timestamp x and timestamp y. Timestamp x is basically sign up on which time it has signed up. Now this column is not required at all because we don't need any time difference as such. So what we can do, when I'm joining, I can just say take this column. I don't need both the columns. Just take user ID column. I don't need timestamp column, so I'm creating a new data frame which has only user ID. Let me run this. So now if you see, I have user ID, timestamp and action, right? So for 6, nothing is there, so it is null and this is null. Great. So now what we will do, we will say df dot group by. Okay. So I need to count for, so group by will be on user ID, right? Now for this user ID, how many records are there? I will get using the count function. Divide by, I need to get for this user ID how many times it is confirmation, right? That is what I have to do. So if confirmation is 0 times, so 0 divided by 2 will be 0, right? 3 divided by 3 will be 1. So how I will do it? Okay, I'll say user underscore ID. So I'll do a df dot group by. Okay, so first let's join these two tables. So I'll say df equal to pd dot merge, right? Now what I'll do, if you see from signups table, I don't need timestamp as such, right? I can just directly take user ID and join it. This timestamp is of no use. Even this timestamp is of no use, right? So at the time of passing the data frames here as well, you can select the columns. So I will say left table will be my this signups table, right? And within this signups table, I just need, this is to improve the performance, right? Why? To get all the columns, whatever is required, let's get it. So I need only user ID, right? I don't need timestamp column here, and even here I don't need timestamp column, right? Then I'll say, so let me take it little back, yeah. And then I will say right column equal to um, my confirmations, right? And from here also I can pass that I need this user ID and action. So I will say I need user underscore ID and actions, right? That's it. And then I need to join how should be left join, right? I need all the records from left table, signups table, and on which column it should be user ID, right? Let's see what we get. Return df. Invalid syntax, left equal to this, right equal to this, how equal to left. Okay, there is some syntax error here. Fine, should run. Invalid syntax again, pd dot merge, left equal to this, right equal to this, how equal to left on this. Why this bracket is there? This bracket is not required, right? Okay, this bracket will be here. Fine. So these kind of mistakes will happen, right? Syntax error, nothing else. Actions not in index. Action it is, not actions. Oh, finally. Okay. So this is my output, right? So I have user ID and action, right? So these two columns are only required. Now I need to do what I need to do. Number of times confirmation is there for each user, divide by total number of rows in this table. So for that, I will create a new column. I'll say df flag Let's call it flag. And by default, I will set it as 0. And then wherever it is confirmation, I will mark it as 1. So a new column will be created 000. I'm not running it, but this is what will happen. Now what I'll do, I'll say df.log I will use, right? And then I will put my condition. So I will say wherever action, action equal to, right? These spaces are not required, but it's a good practice. Equal to confirmed, right? Only for those rows, I will mark flag as 1, right? And let me show you what we will get. So if you see here, wherever confirmed is there, I have marked it as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and this is 0, 0. Wherever it is timeout or null, whatever. Now all we need to do, group by on user ID, get two columns, count of values and sum of flag, right? So I'll say uh, maybe here itself df dot group by, right? Group by we will do on user ID, right? And now we need to get two different columns. So I will use dot agg. So first column we want is um, I want is flag, um, and for flag I need count, right? Right? Or maybe doesn't matter. I can do action or anything. So I'll do flag account, and then I need flag sum as well. So this will be my numerator. Right? So flag count and flag sum. So this should do it. Now only thing is I have two columns with the same name. Let's see it will work or not. So what we are getting is we are getting this 1003, right? So we need to somehow make sure that we have two different columns. Maybe I can create one more column. There should be a better way of doing it, but I'm just doing some whatever coming to my mind. Flag 1 equal to df flag for now, right? Just see, there should be a better way of doing it, and I will do sum for flag 1. Okay, and we'll do reset index dot reset underscore index. Okay, so if you see now, I'm getting this flag. Flag is nothing but the count. So total number of rows for each user, right? And this is number of times they have confirmed the message, right? So I need to just divide this by this. So what I'll do, I'll say, so this is my df equal to, I can set my df this, and then I will say df, uh, what is the column name we need in the output? Confirmation rate. Confirmation rate equal to df um, flag 1 divided by df flag, right? This is what I need. Let me return df one more time. So if you see, I'm getting 0.5, right? 001, 0.5, 1.00. Now I'm getting an integer, right? No, it is decimal only, right? So it is 001, 0.5. This is fine. So we need to sort and either return the result in any order. So this is fine. So we just need two columns, user ID and confirmation rate. So I will just say give me uh, user ID and confirmation rate, right? And let's run this. Okay, this looks fine now. Let's submit it. This is wrong. Let's see what is wrong here. So confirmation rate 0.33. Okay, I need to round it to two decimal place, I think. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do dot round it to two decimal place. Okay, let's submit it. It is still wrong. Expected. Okay, it is not rounding still. Okay, I think it is doing this. So let me. Uh, I think it is rounding this and then doing division. So let me do this. I hope this should work. Yeah. So now it is fine. Let's submit it. Yeah. So now it is fine. Yeah. It is beating 65%, right? So let me recap quickly because we took a lot of time in solving this, right? So I joined these two data frames first, right? Because I need everything from signups table. So a left join being signups being a left table, and I selected only the columns which are required for better performance. Then I created a flag 0, right? Everything is 0, and wherever it is confirmed, I change it to 1. Now I created one more column flag 1 because I needed to get aggregation on this column two times, right? There's a better way of doing it. I don't remember the syntax, but for now I just did it, and then I divided these two values to get the confirmation rate. Okay. With this, I think we are done with the second basic joins. Now we will move on to the basic aggregate function. And in this also we use the aggregation actually, right? So we know aggregation already, but let's solve some more questions.